What's up, YouTube gang? I'm busting out this camera right now because I couldn't think of a more perfect opportunity to go on a little rant right now, because it's crazy. It's crazy to me, some of the conversations I have with people when it comes to fitness, getting in shape, losing weight, building muscle, whatever it is. And this isn't going to be as long as some of my other videos. This should only be probably within 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know. I'm a yapper. We'll see how long I end up yapping for about this. But you guys, regardless of if your goal is to build muscle, lose fat, maintain, recomp, whatever fancy word you want to use, get ripped, get jacked, get buff, whatever, weightlifting should be your main priority at all times. Now, let me explain. Regardless, I'm going to go from stage to stage and give different examples. If your goal is to lose weight, most of my audience is a weight loss audience. I feel like most of the people who watch my stuff. I get a lot of people who goals are just mainly build muscle too. I get a lot of skinny guys who want to get bigger. But majority of my audience is people who want to lose weight. So I'm going to start with that. If you want to lose weight and your goal is to burn fat, so you're eating in a calorie deficit for a longer period of time in order to lose weight over that period of time. But say all you're doing, because a lot of people make the mistake of just eating in a calorie deficit and just doing cardio because they think that's all that's necessary to burn fat. They're like, I don't care about building muscle. I just want to not be fat anymore. Understandable. I get it. I used to feel the same way. I did the same thing at first when I first lost my initial 60, 70-ish pounds, and I was scrawny when I was done. So, but I'll get to that point later. The reason you need to be weightlifting is because you're most likely not going to be perfect with your calories and your macros every single day. You're not going to hit it on the T every single day. But if you're getting close, this guy's shining his brights in my face. I'm literally in like the grocery lot, parking lot. I'm about to go get my groceries. But whatever, the lighting's better now, I guess. Thank you. And he turns them on. But anyways, you're most likely not going to be perfect with your macros and your calories every single day. Most likely not. We're all human. But if you're trying your best to hit your macros every day, say you're aiming for like a 500 to 700 calorie deficit on a day-to-day basis, somewhere in that range, and sometimes you go a little bit over, okay, guess what? You going a little bit over, that extra food, if you were actually lifting weights properly with the right routine, the right system, the right training, that extra food, all that's going to do is feed the muscles that you trained that week, that day, whatever. But if you are not training at all, your body doesn't need any extra food at all, which is why you need to be even more strict about staying within that deficit. But weightlifting creates so much more room for error for you guys. If your goal is to lose body fat, it will create so much... I hope this doesn't fuck up the video, because I just realized I'm holding my phone the wrong way for YouTube. I should be going horizontal. We'll figure that out. So I apologize if this looks like shit. But weightlifting creates so much more room for error, because by stimulating muscle growth, it's essentially just telling your body, hey, we need some extra food. We need some extra protein, calories, energy, whatever, in order to supplement for the stimulus that was put on that muscle this week, today, whenever. It's not like you guys have to enter bulking mode or enter cutting mode. It can be a day-to-day thing. Some days you're going to be in a deficit and your body's going to be trending towards losing weight. Some days you might be in a slight surplus. You're going to be trending towards gaining weight. Some days you're going to be floating right around maintenance and you're going to be trending towards staying the same. But if you are constantly weight training efficiently, effectively, like I said, with the right system, you're going to make progress muscle-wise at the same time while you are losing body fat. And if you have body fat, you can stay in a deficit and be strict. Say you're like, oh, I never fuck up my calories. I'm strict every single day and perfect with my calories every single day. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm going to switch this now just in case. So maybe the rest of the video will look better. Guess what, buddy? You can still gain muscle. You can still gain muscle. Even if you're in a deficit every single day, you can still gain muscle because you have fat on your body. That fat being stored is just extra energy. So just because you're not technically eating enough food to be in an energy surplus doesn't mean you don't have extra energy that can be converted to muscle. It's literally on your body. How do you think I did it? Why do you think by the time, once I did finally cut down the rest of the way, once I implemented weight training, I had a decent amount of gains on my body. I gained a decent amount of muscle by the time the fat was gone. And another thing to take into consideration, as you build muscle over time, your maintenance calorie level, your maintenance calorie number is only going to get higher and higher and higher, therefore allowing you to eat more and more food while still maintaining a deficit. So the deficit's going to get easier and easier to sustain because you're going to have to eat. You're not going to have to eat as little food if you have more muscle on your body. Really think about that. Really freaking think about that. And obviously, so we'll go to the other side of the spectrum. If your goal is to, like I said, if your goal is to just lose fat, your goal should never be to just lose fat. If your goal is to just lose fat, you want to lose fat, weightlifting should be involved regardless. If your goal is to recomp, obviously weightlifting should be involved. Recomping, which is something I 100% believe in. Some people will tell you it's not possible. The only people who will say it's not possible are the people who have been skinny or shredded their whole life and only bulk cut, and they've never had to lose fat before getting in shape. That's the only people who ever say that. People who have lost fat and weightlifted through the process can promise you that recomping is a legitimate thing. I promise. So if your goal is to gain muscle, obviously obviously you're not eating in a deficit anyway. So obviously if your goal is to gain muscle and you're not worried about losing fat, obviously you're going to be weight training. If your goal is to recomp, aka build muscle and lose fat simultaneously, obviously you're going to be weight training. So I guess this video is more catered more towards the people who want to just lose fat and they're focused on just doing cardio and just eating in a calorie deficit and focusing on their nutrition. All those things are fine. But I promise you, I'm telling you right now, implementing weight training is going to change your life. You're going to look better by the time you lose the weight because you're going to have muscle on your frame. You're not just going to be scrawny like I was at first. And the calorie deficit, it's just, you're going to lose weight so much faster. It's not that you don't burn that many calories while you're weight training. So it's not like it's some crazy exercise weight training and that's why it's easier to lose weight. It's the fact of the matter of having more muscle will increase your maintenance calories as time goes along. And if you guys have little to no muscle on you right now, that newbie gain phase that you hear about is a legitimate thing. You're going to progress the most at the beginning. You don't have to be perfect in the gym. You don't have to be perfect with your training. Focus on just showing up. Just focus on showing up and trying. Stick to the basics. Find basic movements that you like doing, that feel good, that feel comfortable for you, and perform them hard. Give it your all on those movements. I promise you this will change your life. If this isn't something that you're already doing, where are we at right now in this video? We're at 7 minutes right now. I told you guys I'm a yapper. Look, 7 minutes, boom, just like that. I'm glad I started doing this content shit because, man, I can't think of a more perfect thing for my personality. I'm passionate about this shit, and all I do is fucking yap. So this couldn't be any better. This is easy. So take this as your sign, man, like as a reasoning, because if you've been contemplating if you should or not, or if you're just nervous to do it, nervous to get in the gym, you think it's easier to just stick to your calorie deficit and stay inside and just get your steps in outside or on your walking pad or whatever it is you're doing right now. Weightlifting should be your main thing that your focus is going towards, regardless of if your main goal is to lose fat. You should always be focused on weight training. Main thing, main focus should be progressing in the gym, progressing with your weight training, getting better form, getting stronger in the gym. Those should always be your main priorities. And obviously if you're bulking, those should be in your main priorities. If you're recomping, those should be your main priorities, like we just discussed. But regardless, when it comes to this game of fitness, just think of it as fitness. It doesn't matter what your necessary goal is at that point in time. Think of it as just one whole thing, the game of fitness as a whole. Top of the totem pole is going to be weight training. That should be your most prioritized thing. Get as efficient and effective and perfect as that as you can possibly be with your form, with your system, with your routine. That is what's going to change everything. That is what's going to make the most massive difference out of everything. That and nutrition. Nutrition would be right. I would say nutrition is right next to it. Those guys are tied hand in hand. Next up will be your cardio. Cardio is something you can supplement in, obviously. So cardio is not necessary. I lost a lot of weight without doing really any cardio because I was just so strict on my nutrition. I was strict on not eating too much food and not going over my calories, just eating high volume, high protein food that kept me full. That was more the approach I took rather than just spamming cardio all the time. But cardio is a great tool to use once you get to a point where you're like more around that, like once you get to like that skinny fat spot and you're really trying to like take things to the next level. Like, okay, like I've lost a lot of weight, but now I really want to get like shredded. I want to get shredded. I want to look muscular and lean. That's when cardio can really be helpful because it's a lot easier to lose weight. Weight comes off a lot easier when you have a lot of it to lose. But the less and less weight you have to lose over time, it's going to get harder and harder. You're just going to have to be that stricter and stricter and more on point, more dialed in with your training, your nutrition, and your recovery. If you guys haven't already, watch the 49-minute video I have on my page. It's the first real full video I posted. I know 49 minutes is kind of a longer video, so break it up into bits and pieces. You don't have to watch it all at once. But I highly suggest you, if you guys are on a fitness journey of your own, trying to get in shape, lose weight, build muscle, whatever, take notes. Watch that video and take notes, because that is the most educational video I've probably ever dropped. It tells you a lot about my background and my story if you don't know it already. So I highly recommend you go give that a watch. I'll put the link to that video in the description of this one. And other than that, man, I appreciate you listening to this yap. 10 minutes, boom, just like that. I didn't even know if this would make it to 5 or 6 minutes, but I'm a natural yapper, I guess. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay tuned. Peace.